They still whisper about her in Cypress Hollow, that little southern town where the moss hangs low and secrets hang even lower. The tale starts with a woman, not just any woman, but Delilah Holloway, the kind of beauty that made men forget their vows, their names, and sometimes their better judgment. Sheriff Tucker Ray had seen a lot in his 27 years on the force. Bootleggers, backwoods cults, even a moonshine priest once. But Delilah? She was a different breed. He listened to Malik, then made a plan. They'd send in an undercover officer, pretend to be a hitman, mic'd up, camera hidden in the dashboard. When Delilah got in that car, she didn't flinch. She asked for 2 to the head. She said she wanted it to look like a robbery gone wrong. Even offered to throw in Mason's watch as a bonus. And when the cop asked if she was sure, she leaned back, crossed her legs, and said with a smirk, "I'm 5,000% sure. 5,000%. She even picked the day, Tuesday morning, said Mason had a bank run. Hit him there, grab the cash, disappear. Cold, calculated, creepy. At first it was subtle. Delilah started asking questions. When do you usually go to the bank? Do you keep your cash in the safe or under the mattress? Mason thought she was just curious. She was planning an exit. And she wasn't planning it alone. There was another man. A street poet named Malik Winters, the type of man who wore cologne like armor and could talk the moon into blushing. Delilah told Malik she felt trapped, that Mason was abusive, controlling. She said she feared for her life. Within weeks, they were married. No fanfare, no church, just a courthouse kiss and a joint bank account. Mason thought he hit the jackpot. Delilah thought she just bought the keys to his kingdom. He didn't know it then. But while he was dreaming about a family, she was counting the days till she could put him 6 feet under and collect the spoils. Now that's the thing about Delilah. She could sell snow to a snowman. But Malik, despite the gold chain and good looks, still had a conscience buried under all that swagger. And when Delilah whispered the words, "I need him gone," he didn't reach for a pistol. He reached for his phone and called the sheriff. She had lips like lies and a voice like velvet poured over a blade. And behind those storm-gray eyes, there was thunder brewing. Folks say she was born trouble, raised by whispers and baptized in sin. But it wasn't her curves that killed. It was her smile. This is the story of how one man fell for the prettiest trap Cypress Hollow ever saw, and lived to regret it. Mason Holloway was a man of second chances. Fresh out of prison for running a slick phone scam in 3 counties. He swore he was done with the hustle. Bought himself a little townhouse off Magnolia Drive. Started selling houses, fixing up flips, trying to go legit. Then, one night, he walks into a hookah lounge, and that's when he saw her, Delilah. Long legs, red dress, and a stare that held promises no preacher could forgive. He offered her a drink. She offered him destruction. They put her on trial 3 times. First jury said guilty. Appeal overturned it. Second jury couldn't decide. Hung like a church bell on Sunday. Third time? The evidence was undeniable. They watched the tape, heard her say it. "I'm 5,000% sure." They didn't even blink. Guilty. Judge gave her 16 years in Ironwood Penitentiary, a concrete box where sunlight goes to die. Delilah didn't cry that day, didn't scream, didn't beg. She just sat and smirked. The sheriff and his boys got to work. They staged a fake crime scene so good, even the devil would have been fooled. Smeared ketchup-red blood on the tile. Busted out a window, laid yellow tape like streamers on Death's birthday. Then they sent Delilah to the gym, just like she planned. When she came home, they told her the lie. "Ma'am, your husband's been killed. We're sorry." She dropped to her knees like she was in a soap opera, cried loud, screamed louder, rocked back and forth like grief was dancing through her bones. But not a single tear, not one. Deputy Ramirez would later say, "She cried like she rehearsed it, but her eyes were dry as Sunday chicken." They took her down to the station, told her they needed her help to find the killer. She nodded, still sniffing, still in full performance mode. Then the door opened, and in walked the hitman. Delilah froze. The color drained from her face. The detective leaned forward and said, "Do you know this man?" She blinked. "Number never seen him in my life." And then came the hammer. "We know everything. You're under arrest for solicitation of murder." And just to twist the blade, they brought Mason in, alive, angry, and heartbroken. Delilah stood. "Baby, please, come here. I didn't mean it." Mason looked her dead in the eye. "I heard you. Now?" They say she still writes letters from prison. Says it was all a setup. Claims she and Mason were just acting, trying to land a reality show deal. Says the cops used her, made her a villain for views. But the jury didn't buy it. And neither did the town. Because when someone tells you they're 5,000% sure they want you dead, you don't ask questions. You run. So if you're ever down in Cypress Hollow and you see a woman with eyes like storm clouds and a voice like a lullaby, you best tip your hat, keep your heart in your chest, and move along. Because in this town, love ain't just blind. It's lethal. They still whisper about her in Cypress Hollow, that little southern town where the moss hangs low and secrets hang even lower. The tale starts with a woman, not just any woman, but Delilah Holloway, the kind of beauty that made men forget their vows, their names, and sometimes their better judgment.